And it doesn't. You don't need to apologize for doing your job. Okay?
That is
People
good.
respond. I just made a mental note. Say only lease.
Yeah. When talking to Deborah, say
only
lease.
lease.
Yes.
You're living in a world that's hard for you.
Right?
It's also hard for us, the deep feelers. You're right.
I can remember one, like, walked out of an open house and I thought, dang, I, like, bombed that one.
Right. Yikes, that was bad.
That was really
That's
bad.
happened to me on, like, sign calls before. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I did a terrible job. Then I think emojis are helpful.
They are, right? Like, haha, see, I'm not mad. I'm haha. Just wishing and hoping.
Right.
And thinking.
Right.
And praying.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome. It's episode 253. Say this. Not that.
Not that.
Not that.
I feel like this is a great episode for you and I.
Sure.
Whenever I have to write an email, you know, I can come off as pretty dry. Yes. Or blunt, too blunt.
Yeah, it can be interpreted as rude.
Rude.
Not
or,
intentionally. But
Yeah, definitely not intentionally.
right. It needs fluff.
So what I do is I like to write the email or the text, and then I go to you or Connie, and I say, can you write this better?
Oh, I like that Connie's also a
Well, before you,
she did them.
it was always Connie, but now
Yeah.
I have you 2 days a week.
She must love the reprieve.
She does, because I is them.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. I'm so glad you said it that way, because my very first note is there is power in your words.
Yeah.
The choice of your words, the tone of your words, it is impactful. And if you're driving, we might have to put together, I have so many, like, you need a notebook and a pencil for this episode.
We're going to take notes for you, too.
We'll take notes for you. But there's some really good ideas here to change the way people receive what you're telling them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the power of words is huge, and adding a little fluff is always good. We're not necessarily going to teach you how to fluff, but I'm going to teach you how to make simple swaps.
Okay.
Simple swaps. Also, I feel like it's important as the neutral party in the middle of a transaction to use what I like to call diffusing language as opposed to inflaming language.
I will say I don't use inflaming language.
You're very good at keeping things emotionally neutral, right?
Yes.
Like we can't be saying things that if you were the person receiving them, it would make you angry or sad or upset. We want to keep things. That's our point.
And yes, we are talking about email and things that you are writing and texting, but I was listening to this podcast about writing professional business emails to prepare for this.
I love this.
And one of the things they said that made a lot of sense is that if you are practicing this, it just affects the way you speak as well.
Yeah.
So as you are typing, trying to be more professional, it will also shine through in your speaking. It's all tied together.
So if you're in an appointment, like a listing or showing or meeting a buyer for the first time, these things are going to make you look more professional.
Yes.
Whether you use them in your verbal language or in your written communication. Mm-hmm. Okay. We might have to go back through and check that we haven't used any of these words in any of our templates after this.
I actually thought that because there were a few that I was like, that's not bad. That's not rude. I don't think that's rude.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's necessarily rude. Okay, and maybe let's just remind friends, I was an English major. Words are my jam. Like, I really enjoy words. I like learning new words. I'm not trying to have like some kind of crazy large vocabulary, but I just really love that you can communicate with words, right? And you can say a lot of different things and mean a lot of different things, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I ask myself this a lot in life, not necessarily with words, but just maybe in my relations with my husband more than anything.
Okay.
Or my children. But you can use this when you're writing or speaking.
Okay. You listen to us talk about our systems every week. Now we want to hear about yours.
This month in our Hustle Humbly Community Live event, we are talking all about automation and systems.
We have crowdsourced all the best tips and tricks from our super supportive community friends.
And there's still time to join us in the group and soak up all of this amazing info. Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership to sign up. Do I want to be right or do I want to be happy?
But isn't being right the true meaning of happiness?
The article I read while preparing for this actually used it different. I say that to myself. Do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? Okay. Like, I don't want to be right that you're going to get into an accident if you text and drive. I want to be happy. So just don't text and drive. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like, do I want to be right or happy? I don't want to predict something bad because I knew this was going to happen. I want to be happy. So I don't want to fuss. I just want you to follow the rules. But they, in the article in reference to this, say this, not that. They said, do I want to be right or do I want to be kind?
You could be both.
You can be both, but if you're given the choice, you're going to have to let go being right.
I see what you're trying to do here.
In some instances.
I see.
Okay.
If
you're choosing between kindness and rightness.
Can't have both. You can, in this scenario. In this scenario of question, it's like that game. Would you rather? You can't have both. You have to pick one.
You have to pick one. Okay. Now, I also, before we start actually jumping into the swaps, I want to remind you that when you're in person or on the phone, there is tone. When you listen to a podcast, like as I read these to you, there is tone, right?
Yeah.
In an email or in a text. And I looked everywhere from this old quote that was basically like, you send a text or an email from where you are in your feelings, but the receiver receives it from where they are.
Right.
They're having a bad day, if they're upset about something else, if something's going on in their life, they're going to take it however they want to take it, and you have no control over that.
That's good.
Unless you use exactly the right words. And I'm going to tell you, friends, even with exactly the right words, someone can take what you said in written communication wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And it happens all the time.
I also read about how if it is something that email is for delivering information, which is why I'm so blunt at times. It's efficiency. I'm just giving you what you need, okay? Yeah. So if it's something that has a tone to it, they say you should pick up the phone, have the conversation, and then send the email.
That's a great idea.
So you're like, hey,
this is what's coming.
Per the conversation, here's what we just talked about. Just wanted to have it documented.
Yeah.
Fluff, fluff, fluff. Have a great day.
Right. Because even though you're dry in your written communication, you're not dry in your verbal communication.
Right.
You're kind and you have a positive, warm tone.
I like to think so.
You do. I'm telling you. I've listened to you on the phone many times.
I think that's why it's like, are you mad at me? And I'm like, why would I be mad at you? And it's like, well, your email was just so short and you used
I have a lot of things going on.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's just how I email.
Super efficient.
Yeah, but if I was like that in person.
You're not.
But if I was, maybe they wouldn't be so surprised by my emails.
Exactly. They're like, uh-oh, what's wrong?
Yes.
That's a great point. Okay, so remember, that's you have to qualify it that way.
Yeah. Who's your audience? What are you trying to say?
Are you ready for your first swap?
Yeah.
This is one I need to work on. There's a handful of these that I'm like really going to work on.
Okay.
And I have heard this before, and I just still default sometimes back to thanks. Instead of thanks, you should be using thank you. 2 words, thank you. Now I'm going to read this excerpt from this article. When you say thanks to someone, it's like a quick verbal pat on the back. The word itself doesn't take much effort to say, and it just rolls off your tongue. If you drop a pencil and someone picks it up for you, you'd say thanks. You basically would say thanks to just about anyone. Thank you, on the other hand, is a verbal hug. It takes more effort to say, and people often add some tonal emphasis on either the first or second words, like thank you or thank you, right?
I really have appreciated Gmail's auto suggested auto response.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that information.
And you're like, click.
Click.
Click. Okay, let me finish. So plus it's more personal since it includes the word you.
Thank you.
Rarely do people say thank you and not mean it. It's often a genuine expression of appreciation and possibly affection.
That is so true.
Such a simple swap.
Yeah. Sometimes when a client says, like, they'll text me, thank you, and I'll text back, thank you.
I do that, and I have to put in all caps.
Yeah, like, you.
No, thank you. No, thank you. So going forward, no more thanks. And thanks is one of my defaults when I'm emailing, but it's usually thanks. have a great day. So it's never alone.
Right.
But even still, I gotta get on thank you.
Do you know one that I read is offensive to some people that I use all the time?
What?
Thank you in advance.
Oh, it's like passive aggressive?
Yes. I use that all the time.
You're just like, get it effing done.
Yeah. But it says that that's how it's perceived.
That's how I would have received it.
It's perceived as, I'm not giving you a choice. You will do that. You will do this.
Thank you in advance.
But then I think about...
Sassy.
I'm like... Okay, example. Hey, we're all done with inspections, Mr. Lender. You can get the appraisal ordered. Thanks in advance. You're going to do that anyway.
No, just thank you. And it's less words. You don't want to write more words.
I know.
Efficiency-wise, thank you is better, and you don't want to say that anyway. And it is passive-aggressive.
Yes. I never, in my tone, it was never that way.
It was just like, I'm telling you thank you right now.
Yeah.
I'm just getting it done right
now.
I
won't have to say it later. I'm just being efficient.
Thanks in advance.
Did I ever tell you thank you for ordering that appraisal?
Thank you.
I guess it's better like in the movies when they're like, if I forget to tell you, I had a great time tonight.
Wait, what movie is that with Jim Carrey? And he's like, is it Truman Show?
Oh, I don't know.
And if I forget,
I know they say it in Pretty Woman.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Like he does the whole thing.
Yes.
And if I don't see you later.
But apparently that's rude.
Yeah, well, not in advance.
Yeah.
Rude.
Don't say that. Any other things on thank you?
No, that's it. Just go to thank you. Okay.
Who knew that thank you could be so offensive?
Now, I believe actually my assistant in 2016 sent me both of these articles. I don't know why. I just remember being made aware of the thank you back then. And then this next article I'm going to tell you about, I received from my assistant, and it changed my life.
What?
Okay, this article is about the word just. J-U-S-T, just. It is written by Chelsea Stone. It was actually in Glamour, I believe. And this is why she quit using the word just in her emails. And I'm going to just read you some of this article, okay? Maybe I was feeling insecure about she was young, all right? In her first job out in the world.
Okay.
Maybe I was feeling insecure about my new job, or insecure about my youth, or just plain insecure. But I felt an incessant need to somehow rationalize all of my email correspondence, especially with more senior level folk. I developed a bad habit, the overuse of the word just. You see, just is a tiny little insignificant word that implies that whatever you're emailing about is, well, tiny and insignificant, innocuous, harmless. Just is a word that minimizes whatever follows. And somehow I got into my head that adding that little just in there made whatever request I had smaller, easier to handle, and less of an inconvenience to whoever I was emailing. Basically, it's another word for sorry. Here's the example. Just checking in to see what time works for this meeting. Just wondering if you had a chance to review, ... Just wanted to see if you had some time to chat about, ... Just following up to see if you've read my last 3 emails. But here's the thing. Starting off an email with just demeans what you have to say. Just makes it sound like whatever you're emailing about needs to be apologized for. And it doesn't. You don't need to apologize for doing your job. Okay.
That is
People
good.
responded to my emails more urgently because my emails sounded more urgent when she removed this. Okay.
Okay.
Over time, as I stopped saying just, I found that I didn't need it anymore. And I felt confident in my own abilities to do my job and determined to do whatever it took to do it well, including talking to people who intimidated me. Was it all because I ditched just? I say yes, because doing so forced me to trust in the importance of what I had to say. And I think other people started to too. So I encourage you to remove just from your vocabulary. It's just taking up valuable email space.
That is funny and so true. I think that whenever I used that word the most is when I was trying to follow up with cold prospects, cold leads. Just checking in. Wanted to see if you're still looking for houses.
Sorry to bother you.
Yeah, sorry to bother you. I'm just doing my job here. It's my job to follow up with you because you called me to help you buy a house.
This one is hard to break.
Yeah.
And I read this article way back then. So let me just say, for the last 6 years, I've been trying to keep this out of my emails. Mm-hmm. And I still catch myself using it.
I think
and having to delete it.
You and I have talked about this word before, and we must have, because I am also very aware of it, and I delete it. I catch myself. Usually this is what I do. I write the email, and then I quickly skim it and make it shorter.
That's fine.
I usually do that by taking out words such as just, or anything else that just sounds uncertain or unsure.
Repetitive.
Yes, repetitive. Yeah. But I think that if you're reading an email or typing an email and the word just is mentioned in there like that, it really shows that you or the person you're receiving it from is struggling with a mindset issue.
Absolutely.
So if you have, this is a mindset issue that comes out in your communication.
And you don't want your sellers especially, but even your buyers or any of your clients to feel like you're not sure of yourself. Like, we just need to do this. I'm just going to do that. Could you just meet me here?
Just that?
Yeah, because it makes sense. You're trying to be like, it's just a little thing.
You also need to picture yourself when you're writing it in an email, saying it in person.
Oh, yeah.
If you ran into this person at supper club.
Okay.
And you saw them.
You're like, hey.
Would you be like, hey, I just wanted to see if you were still working on getting your house ready for photos? That's not how you would talk.
No.
You would say, hey, how's photo prep going?
Right. You would.
Yeah. You wouldn't?
I would.
Would you be like,
we're confident? Like,
yeah, but I think even those that aren't confident
would never
feel
use that word
silly.
in person.
Would feel silly. They would feel like a little puppy.
I was just wondering.
Because I type it, but I don't use it in person.
You would never say in person.
I would never.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just wanted to say. On that lines, they also say not to say at least.
Oh, at least.
So when you are negotiating, whether you have the buyer or the seller, we've all been in that situation where you're just trying to keep the deal together, and maybe, you know, you're splitting hairs at this point on price, and it's about to fall apart because of a $500 home warranty.
Yeah.
When you start saying things like, at least they accepted the price. At least they...
Right. It sounds like you're getting the least.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't want to say at least whenever you're in a situation where you are negotiating.
It makes sense.
You want to say, I'm thankful they took our price.
Right.
Or good thing they took our price.
I always start with good news.
Yes.
They did this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Never focus in on the bad stuff.
And saying at least, people think they're being helpful.
Yeah.
But they're not. Not only in like business transactions, but also they were saying that's offensive in even personal life situations. Like, someone passes away, at least they're in a better place now.
Like, nah.
Yeah, see, it's just offensive all the time.
All the time. Okay, so we're removing at
least. And it's for the same reason as just. Just making it least.
Loving this. Okay.
Making it least.
While we're on, I guess, negotiation words, I didn't go back to the book because it would have then been the whole book. But Never Split the Difference is full of ways to phrase things. And the biggest thing I took away from Never Split the Difference was if someone you're trying to get them to acknowledge how they're feeling, it seems like, or it looks like, instead of accusing someone, well, you're very angry about this repair request. It seems like you're unhappy with the number of items on the repair request, or just trying to, because you're assuming in your head why someone's upset. But it's if you say it seems like, or it looks like, and then whatever you think, they will correct you. Okay. But if you just accuse them, then they're going to come from the defensive. And the other phrase in Never Split the Difference that I really liked was, have you given up on this?
Yeah.
That's it. Simple. Like, you check in with a lead. They haven't responded in a while. Have you given up on buying a home? That's it, though. You can't put any other words. It has to be really short.
That would be hard for you, I feel, to just send that email. It would be really hard
for me. But that's
you wouldn't add any fluff? If not, I'm here for you whenever your time is.
No. Because as soon as you say that, you've already closed the loop. You have to make it where they have to respond.
I see.
And if you're like, if not, I'll be here doing blah, blah, blah. Well,
I'll be here for the next 20 years. Oh, good. No rush at all.
Right? So I like that one too. Let's do a couple of funny client ones before we move on.
Okay.
Do you want to tell your shingle story?
Oh, gosh.
Do you not?
I don't know.
Are you nervous about the shingle story?
When does this air?
It's going to air on June 10th.
Should be good.
Okay, great.
So I received a repair request for seller to replace the roof. I have the seller.
And your seller said, yes.
Yes.
Sure,
Seller
roof,
will
no problem.
replace the roof.
I mean, it is a problem, but
Yeah,
we'll do it.
We'll do it. Begrudgingly. But must be done.
Mm-hmm.
And then it said buyer to approve shingles.
Fair.
Great. It's going to be your house. Okay. So we got quotes. The roofer that we went with sends me the shingle options. The buyer's dad is like, we do not want laminated shingles. We want architectural shingles.
Mm-hmm.
And the roofer is like, they're all architectural shingles.
Like,
and he's like, well, they say laminated or on top of them. And I'm like, I've never heard of a laminated shingle. And the buyer's agent's all, this dad knows what he's talking about. And I'm thinking,
he thinks he does.
he thinks he does. And
Because a quick Google search.
yes, so I'm Googling laminated shingles. What is
the difference?
What
Let's make sure we get the ones that aren't laminated.
I mean, I can't go through this and then it's not right. Everything I read about laminated shingles is, they're more durable. They sustain higher winds. Like, this is the kind of shingle you want. And so I called the buyer's agent back. I'm like, listen, this wording is not making sense. It is, because she said he wants to make sure they are architectural and not laminated. I said, they are both. And she said, he wants to make sure that they're overlapped. I said, that is architectural. 3-tab or composition shingle is flat.
Yeah.
They are like subway tile.
Yeah.
Okay. And those are also laminated.
It has to do with the way a shingle's made, not the shape of the shingle.
Yes, but I didn't know what. So then I thought I said to the roofer, is there any architectural shingles that are not laminated? He said, not that I carry. So then I got nervous.
Like, maybe there is such a thing.
So I called the other roofers.
And?
Big name roofers.
Uh-huh.
They're like, all of our shingles are laminated. They're the most durable kind.
It is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Like, laminated is architectural.
Yes.
It's not, they're the same, they're words for the same thing.
Yes, and this research and debate went on for way too long.
How did you handle it in the end? Are you afraid to tell us?
No, they
picked a shingle.
So while I was researching and trying to decide because my fear was this buyer's dad doesn't have anyone putting him in his place kindly by saying, sir, you are mistaken. It will be architectural. Laminated is not the problem.
Right.
As long as it's architectural, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I found out they're all laminated,
You're like, what am I going to do now?
I thought, gosh, do I call the agent and say, hey, FYI, they're all laminated? But I didn't necessarily trust her to deliver that message. I thought if she went to the buyer's dad and said, hey, Mr. Dad, they're all laminated, he would be like, forget it. This thing had gotten way too out of control.
Okay.
Because
we were hanging on by a thread.
We were hanging on by a thread, lack of client management, lack of all sorts of things. Okay. So it's like, I didn't want to say that.
Okay.
So I was going to go meet with Connie and be like, how should I handle this? When all of a sudden, from the choices they were given,
this is the one we want.
They said, this is the one, final answer.
Right. Sold.
So I wrote an addendum and had them sign off on it and initial the picture and all the things. Cause I'm like,
this is it.
This is it. I just didn't say, cause it's going to be, at the end of the day, it sounded to me like the laminated wasn't as much as concern as if they were going to be architectural.
Right.
They were going to be architectural.
Yeah.
That's all roofers really do now here in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So it's replaced. It looks great. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be I thought, what happens if the roofer is there replacing the shingles And
the box,
and like
the box,
and like nailing the roof, and the dad is like creeping around looking at boxes. Like, is this gonna? How do you say? Listen, Mr. Buyer, it's just.
I checked. It is only 3-tab is 3-tab. Laminated architectural is what they are.
Yes.
Only architectural shingles are laminated.
Mm-hmm.
3-tab is what it's called. Like, there is no laminated 3-tab. It's either 3-tab or it's architectural, which is laminated.
I just thought, I got aggravated at how tedious this was. But it brought up a really excellent point that when you write your repair request, this is why I like money in lieu of repairs.
Yeah, language is so important.
Language has never been more important than in a buyer repair request. Yep. We had someone recently that, noted almost everything on their inspection report, but just put seller to check faulty breaker.
Check.
I'll go look at it.
Looks faulty.
It never said repair it. Thankfully, I was not involved in this transaction.
That sounds terrible.
But as a listing agent, I have received some pretty vague repair requests. And some of them are worded in a way that are almost impossible to even agree to because they're just open-ended.
Yep.
Some people say repair or replace. And it's like, well, which one? How do we know what we need to do? And if you're looking for a loophole in your contract, you're giving by agreeing to a ton of repair requests, you are giving the buyers way too many loopholes to cancel, right before closing.
I don't like that.
I know.
Okay, let's move on from that. But language.
So important. So important.
Okay, I have one funny one. Recently, I had a seller lead who wasn't sure if she wanted to sell her home or lease her home. But I said the word rent somewhere in our conversation because to me, they are synonymous.
Yes.
Rent and lease.
Yes.
You could rent it. You could lease it. What is the difference?
You have a lease when you rent. You sign a lease.
You could be a renter or a lessor. Like it.
Yes.
Who cares? But she said, "Oh no, I don't want to rent it. I only want to lease it."
Oh,
because you'll get a certain type of person if it's a renter. And I'm like,
oh my,
that's the same thing.
Then
they
lesser?
Don't own it.
We're looking for a lesser, not a renter.
She only wanted, lessee, I guess. She only wanted, because she would be the, whatever, it doesn't matter. She only wanted to lease her home.
Okay.
She did not want to rent it. I was like, oh yeah, no problem. Because sometimes you're like, well, there's no point in me even arguing
That's how I felt about this roof situation.
Okay,
I'm like, do I make phone calls?
I just made a mental note. Say only lease.
Yeah. When talking to Deborah, say only lease. Yes. Hey, are you new here? Make sure you head back to episodes 1 through 3 to hear the foundation and the heart of Hustle Humbly podcast.
Hearing these first 3 episodes will help you to get to know us more and will better frame any other episodes you choose to listen to.
Looking for a specific topic? Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/categories to find exactly what you need.
Enjoy. Okay, let's move on to some swaps. Are you ready for some more swaps?
Yeah.
Because just we removed. Thank you was a swap. Next swap. Sorry for the delay. Never say sorry for the delay.
You're never sorry.
No. Thank you for your patience.
Beautiful.
Because if you're worried about someone getting angry because you were slow, if you say a preemptive, not thank you in advance, but thank you for your patience, then they're like, all right, fine, I'll be patient. How about this one? That is not my job. Don't lie like you don't think a realtor has never said that. Well, that's not my job.
I've said it. Never to a client, maybe to like a listing agent.
Here's a swap for you. I'd be happy to help you figure out how to reach your goal.
Oh.
Like I'm not going to do it, but here's the number to whoever you need maybe.
And I think this is really important. I'm seeing more and more agents, especially as we're in a tougher market, feel like they just have to bare their soul.
Yeah.
They are trying to be property managers of their vacant listings, and they are trying to be full-blown designers with helping their clients remodel. It's just actually not something that we're getting paid for our job.
Right. But I would like to be devil's advocate here. I also feel like the boundary police is getting a little out of hand.
Yes.
Like, y'all.
Yes, that's what I mean.
If your seller is out of town and they need you to meet someone to go change out a light fixture, I think that's acceptable.
Yes.
Within reason. Like, if they're asking you to go there every day, then maybe that's not okay. Like, we're not trying to be the contractor for a full-scale renovation.
Mm-hmm.
But can we have office hours, but also be able to step outside of them and be like, well, this situation is urgent, or this seller never does this, but right now they need me. Like, it's not that black and white.
It's not that black and white.
And I feel like lately it's been a little bit like, oh, like sometimes I'll see in groups where people are like asking for advice. Oh, my buyer did this. Oh, my seller did this. Oh, they're calling me at all hours of the day, night. This happened. And sometimes the advice is really wild to me because I'm like, y'all, it wouldn't have been that hard to just simply shoot a text back that said, I'll catch this for you in the morning. Correct. But instead, we're like causing it to be like, I'm going to get up on a soapbox about how that's not my job or it's outside of my work hours. And I'm like, how many clients do you have right now? Like, it probably isn't going to take. How much of your day during working hours did you not have to work was my other question. Like, maybe your work is sprinkled out a little bit outside of work hours, but during work hours, you watched an hour of Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, side note. Okay, how about this? This wasn't my fault. Or like blaming it on someone else. The swap for this wasn't my fault is I can help fix this.
Oh, that's great.
Be positive. Be solution oriented, not problem or blame oriented. So like if something goes wrong in your transaction, which inevitably it will, instead of being like telling your client, here's the problem, here's who's to blame for it, come with the here's how we can fix this, or how I can help fix this, or how who's going to fix this. Don't ever show up with a problem with no potential solution, unless there truly is no solution. Like if you have to end the transaction.
Sure.
But just be like, oh, well, that's the other agent's fault. She's terrible and she doesn't keep her clients in check. And then you just like let your client be upset? No. Here's your favorite. Never, ever, ever, ever say, I think or I feel.
Correct.
When delivering price or advice.
Yes.
What do we say instead?
The data shows. Yep. According to the data. The market is telling us. The buyer's feedback has been, you need to change your carpet.
I love it. I also had, I
think you need to change your carpet.
Right. The last one that this article said was, I know. Just instead of I think or I feel. I know buyers are blah, blah, blah. But if you want to just push it off on someone, I do always like the market is saying. The data is showing. Like, I'm not the data. I'm not the market. I'm just the deliverer of the news.
And when there is no data, I explain that. I listed a condo recently where I had to go back 30 months to find a sale.
That's a long
And it's not that things were listed and didn't sell. It's just that people haven't really moved.
Nobody
And
leaves.
I told my client was like, well, what do you think we should list it at? And I said, here's the thing. I can do a search and I like to base off of data, but there has been zero data.
Yeah.
So I had to go outside of our bubble and look at how these are doing and compare them. And I can give you a range based on the data.
Right.
And then we need to work together to come up with a list price based on that.
Yeah.
Your financial goals and the data, not what I think, not what I feel.
Yeah. Data. I also noted that the best way to get better at speaking with this type of certainty, the I know, the data shows based on the market says, is to start thinking positively about yourself and what you offer. Okay. And then practice speaking these types of direct statements out loud so you can confidently say them to others. Like just get in the habit of saying the data says, the market's saying, I know, like just practice.
We need to have
it's not like a full script.
Business affirmations.
That's right. I know what I'm talking about.
I am a good agent.
The market says your home is blah, 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 whatever. Okay. Are you ready for another swap? I'll try. Don't say I'll try.
We're not allowed to say that in our house. Tanner won't let our children say that.
Oh, what do you swap at home?
You must say, I need help, or what does he say? Like if Tate's like, I can't do this, or I'll try, he's like, no, we don't try, we do. That's Tanner. But you can ask for help, but you can't say like, I tried. I can't.
Right.
I need help or I will.
Okay, well, the professional swap was, I am confident I can get this done by insert date here.
Okay.
So I'll try. Like, I'm very busy. I'll try. Is going to be, I'm confident I can get this done by blank. Now, if you can't get it done, then I think maybe the other swap would be, I'm sorry, I won't be able to help you with this. Do you know, like, not I'll try. Gotta give them the date. And it could be far away. If the date's really far away, they can go get someone else to do it.
Correct. I remember being on maternity leave and saying, this is when they start daycare. If that date works for you, let me know. But I'm certainly not going to try to help you before I can.
I can't.
Yeah.
I won't be able to. This is back to we talked about this already a little bit. I told you so. Like the,
On that note, they also said, never say, even though you can say it in a tone that doesn't sound this way, like, hey, correct me if I'm wrong. But they say, don't say that no matter what. Because correct me if I'm wrong means I'm not wrong.
You're wrong.
Yes. And don't correct me.
Alyssa, this is a fun game where you're like, I never thought that was bad. And I'm like, that's definitely bad.
Yeah, I never would have
I would have never said that. Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, buyer. But you told me that you did not want a carport.
I do like that when you do, you said you needed a garage.
Right.
Did anything change with your needs?
Correct.
Not
there's a better
correct
way.
me if I'm wrong.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's such a
don't correct
sassy.
me.
Sassy is a thing we say in the South, I feel like.
I am a little sassy.
I am a little sassy as well, but I'm careful with my clients. All right. I told you so can change to, I'm glad we could figure this out together. Or just don't bring attention to it at all. Like, I told you not to list your house at $350 and now we're having to drop it to $325 and your listing is stale. What good is that doing anyone?
So you shouldn't be like, per the email below where we discussed this.
No, not if you want your clients to have a positive experience where they are pleased with your service.
Yeah.
You can do that. Sure. You can go ahead and be right. And you could say, I told you so.
Right. Do I want to be right or do I want to be kind?
Correct me if I'm wrong. You could do all that.
I don't say it like that.
But it's
correct me if I'm wrong.
It is kind of like saying,
okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I just thought you needed a carport garage.
That is sassy. You're going to have to stop that.
I don't use it a lot.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
It's funny. I'm also like not the most sensitive person. So like I had a client that texted me one time and was like, hey, I hope my email wasn't too harsh. And I was like,
no, was it harsh at all?
Right. I actually had to go back and read it because I had no idea what they were talking about.
You're like, I couldn't. It sounded fine to me.
Yeah.
Which is great. No one's going to bother you.
But it makes me more aware.
Well, because there's a lot of deep feeling people out there.
Yeah.
You know, like you're living in a world that's hard for you. Right? It's also hard for us, the deep feelers.
So on that note, there was some really good research about how you should mirror.
Oh, yes.
And that's hard too, because I'm all about this is how I work best in my business. But, if somebody emails you and says, report attached, I'm like, thanks. But if somebody emails you and says, hey, how are you doing? I hope everything's going well this week.
Is that bothersome for you?
I feel like I have to reply now and be like, oh, I'm doing great. The kids are good. Thank you for the report.
Well, as long as you say thank you and not thanks, you're in the clear.
Just
be like, thank you for the report.
That's why the Google auto
response.
The auto response has been so helpful.
AI is working out great for you.
It is because it's filling in the gaps of what needs. But they say like if a client emails you and says report attached, you can say thanks. You don't even have to say thank you.
I'm going to say thank you.
I know you will.
Practicing.
But if they are fluffy, you need to be a little.
You have to mirror fluff.
Yes,
that's a great tip.
So. Well, we can't match.
Mirror the fluff level.
Yes, we can't match our clients 100%. Also, in real estate, I think it's very important that we remember to mirror our clients' excitement.
Oh, yeah.
We sell houses all the time.
Sure.
They don't buy and sell houses.
No.
They are so excited
Super
on photo day.
Yeah.
When they go under contract.
Good news. We baked a lot of excitement into the email templates.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's a lot of it in there. This is you've selected a great house in a great location. Like, just like every other house.
Yeah, looks like every other house on the street. No. But,
oh my God.
Mirror that. We have to remember that, we get dull. We can get numb to it at times because it's a transaction, but it's a big deal.
Okay. You're going to love this one, Mrs. Correct me if I'm wrong. No offense, but.
Oh, I don't say that.
No, I assumed you did not.
Okay, good.
Never say that.
Never.
In personal, in business.
No offense.
There is no swap. It's just nothing.
Yeah, don't
say anything. If you need to qualify it with no offense, but it is not worth being said. Like what your mom said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the best swap is nothing.
Be quiet.
All right. How about this? Is that okay? Okay. Is that okay? They said to swap this with, is that what you had in mind? Like, okay, we're going to list at 400,000. Is that okay? It's swap it to, is that what you had in mind? Or let me know if I should proceed. I use that one all the time.
Let me know if I should proceed.
Especially if it's like, you're trying to decide on changing a price or repairs, some sort of negotiation. If I'm like, the sellers have responded with blah, this is what the data says. Let me know if we should proceed. Mm-hmm. So don't say, is that okay? But because what it sounds like is help me.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, is that okay? Mm-hmm. Like, we'll price it at 300. Is that okay?
I think you also have to be mindful. I just was in a multiple offer situation with one of my buyers. Mm-hmm. I haven't been in one in a minute.
Okay.
So it brought me back, But they said, well, we were thinking about offering, $375. Is that okay? And I was like, the problem is I can't tell you that in this situation because you're the one buying the house. All I can do is show you the data. We can talk about the comps, but I need to know how much you like this house. Mm-hmm. Because if you really like this house, I need you to be okay.
Yeah.
If I have to call you and say, we did not get it. Are you okay? That was the highest you were going to go on this house.
You reached your limit.
I don't want to hear, we should have gone 1,000 higher.
Right.
We have one shot.
Did you win?
We did.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, we did.
I'm so happy
I was surprised.
Oh, well, even better. Here's another one. I don't know. I'm not sure. Y'all, you're going to be in showings. You're going to be in listings. You're going to be in client appointments where you do not know the answer to a question they ask you. Frequently.
All the time.
All the time. Never say, I don't know, I'm not sure. And let that be the end, right? Here's the swap. I don't know, but I will find out. Let me look into that. Here's what I can tell you. Let's reach out to blank. I think she'll have some insight on this. Mm. So let's reach out to the listing agent. She might have some insight on this.
Let's reach out to the roofer.
Right. I don't know, but I will find out. You always have to be like, let me look into that for you.
This is why I believe doing open houses as newer agents is so important. Not just people are like, well, I never get clients from it. I didn't get a ton of clients from open houses, but gosh, did I learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
I remember my first open house, I was so nervous. I knew the square footage. I knew how old the house was. I knew all these things. And then somebody walked in and said, how many air conditioners are there?
Like, oh,
and I'm like, gosh, I don't know that. So I fumbled my way through that. And then open house number 2, I knew those things. Yeah. And then they asked something else I didn't know.
Oh.
But by open house 5 and 6 and 7, I knew a lot more, but I also knew how to respond a lot better, even when I didn't know it. So open houses for the newer agents, I think, are so good. They teach you how to talk to people.
And learn what people are typically asking.
You practice on strangers.
Yes. And then it doesn't matter if you don't do a good job.
Yeah. And then when your repeat referral comes,
you're ready.
I can remember one, walked out of an open house and I thought, dang, I bombed that one.
Right. You're like, that was bad.
That was really bad.
That's happened to me on sign calls before. I'm like, oh, I did a terrible job.
Phone duty. The times I've hung up the phone and been like,
whoa, that was terrible.
I didn't do it.
So many times.
I didn't do it. Anything I was supposed to.
Right. It happens. I think the reassuring truth here is that no one expects you to know all the answers. Even though they're asking if you know, great. And it's okay to admit that you don't have the answer right now, but you can get it. Mm-hmm. Also, you need to demonstrate your willingness to take action and find answers. Just be like, I don't know, and let it die. Mm-hmm. You can't just let it. I just started watching the most recent selling the OC season.
Okay.
And in the scenes for the coming season, there's a girl who has moved there from Nashville to become a realtor in, the OC. And she knows nothing and has never sold any real estate. And they're just previewing her running someone's open house, and these people are asking her all these questions and she just doesn't know the answer, and she's just like, oh, I don't know. Like, just to everything they said. Oh,
no clue.
I don't know.
Not
she just
a clue.
looks like the biggest dummy.
Oh,
right?
no.
Not even, oh, let me go find out. Just, I don't know. I don't know, but this couch is pretty. Like, so ridiculous. Okay, but this is going to come up a lot in real estate, so I think this is a very important one to learn. I don't know. Swap out to, I don't know, but I'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Or one of those others. I hope to hear from you soon. This one I am going to have to work on.
Okay.
All the hopes. I look forward to discussing next steps is the swap. Yes. I look forward to hearing from you soon. So I look forward to discussing next steps. I look forward to hearing from you soon, but never I hope to hear from you soon. Okay. This is a common way to end emails, especially when following up with potential new clients or customers or in follow-up interview interactions, right? But ending your emails and hoping that you'll hear from your recipient makes it sound like you think there's a good chance you won't hear from them.
It's like, it makes me think of the song, like, just wishing and hoping,
right, and thinking, right,
and pray.
Instead, project confidence that the conversation will continue. I hope to hear from you soon. Is a just. This is absolutely a just, right?
Oh yes.
Like I hope to work together.
And in the song they say, just hoping.
Right. And I have plenty of times said, I hope we get a chance to work together. False. Now we're going to be, I look forward to working together.
No hoping.
No hoping.
We are speaking with confidence.
Or even when you send an offer to another agent, instead of I hope we get a chance to work together, just be like, I look forward to working together.
Why do I reference he's just not that into you
all the time?
Much?
Maybe because it's got a realtor in the
Maybe so. Do you know what part I'm thinking about? When she's determined that she's not going to be a stalker anymore. Okay. She's at the bar, Gigi.
She's leaving a message?
No. She's at the bar and having a good conversation with this guy, and he gives her his card and he's like, I'll call you soon. And she goes, oh, wait, that's confusing.
No. He
Are you calling me?
And says, I hope we get to talk again, or I hope to hear from you.
And she was like, that's confusing because you gave me your information, but then said
that he was going to
call. So are you calling me or am I calling you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said, we'll be in touch. And she goes, oh, there we go. Vague again.
But like, am I supposed to call you?
And then he leaves and she rips up this card. She's like, I'm not calling him. If he wants to get in touch with me, he'll call me.
He didn't get her number. That's what it was.
Yes.
And she's like, don't you want my number? You said,
you would call me, but then you gave me your card. So
and he's like, confusing. Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Words are so important.
We got to go find that scene. That's so funny. Yeah. Okay. And here's a good one. Because I also have said this, another hope one. I hope this makes sense.
Does this make sense to you?
I hope this makes sense.
Because you're dumb.
Does this make sense? I'll say that a lot. Let me know if I can answer any questions.
That's better, because I think, does this make sense? Is
sounding like you're not sure if it makes sense.
Are you dumb?
Right. Right.
Do you understand?
Do you understand me? I hope this makes sense is now, let me know if I can answer any questions. Okay.
That's good.
All right. Now, I found another article in the M Equilibrium, I don't know, website, which was great. It was so great. So when you need help, if you need help, say this. Thank you. Not that. I'm sorry. When you need help. So, okay, hold on. One study found that people were 10% more likely to respond to emails that included a thank you in their sign-off. So rather than leading with an apology, okay, so instead of, I'm sorry, can you blah, 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 whatever, it signifies your request is an inconvenience. Make it a positive exchange. Get the other person on board and even excited to help you by showing them in direct impact their help will have on their work. Say, for example, thank you in it.
It says to say thank you in advance. That means you don't have a choice.
This will be a huge help and save so much time on the project. People enjoy helping others and see the payoff. So maybe there's some
I know.
Maybe that's okay. There's a neural link between generosity and happiness that makes it feel good to give to others. Mm-hmm. So for best results, keep it positive and impactful. I'd go with that. But they're saying instead of I'm sorry, could you blah, blah, blah. It's thank you, but maybe not thank you in advance. Just thank you.
What do you think about emojis?
I like an emoji.
I like emojis,
but that's because of our age, I think. Because the youth are not, they're off this. The Gen
I use
Zs
them in
are
text for sure.
If I want to qualify the tone,
yes,
then I think emojis are helpful.
They are, right? Like, haha, see, I'm not mad. I'm haha.
But I do think there's probably a time and place for emojis.
Yeah.
Text is a more...
The deal is dead. Skull.
Right. No, thank you. But I guess in an email, I would probably keep them out. Mm-hmm. I would maybe put them in a text personally.
Yeah,
just because that seems like a more informal
and they're harder to do an email. If I'm sending an email from my phone, I have to resist more.
Because you feel like
the button's there.
Yeah.
If you're typing on your computer, you have to go to the emoji button and all that.
All right, here's one that I am going to try really hard to swap out. Okay. This is going to be hard for me because I say it a lot. Do not say, no problem.
It could be a problem.
No problem. You have to swap that with happy to help. And I'm going to tell you why. It may seem harmless, but no problem is a phrase that can discredit your work, loosen your boundaries, and keep you from feeling pride. By definition, it enables you to let things slide and dismiss the effort you've put into solving what may have actually been a problem. And it becomes more automatic the more you say it. And I do it all the time.
That's a good point.
It says, resist the impulse to brush off praise. Instead, reclaim credit where it's due with a phrase like, I'm happy to help, which I have said and I'm going to lean into.
I need to say that more.
Or go Chick-fil-A style. My pleasure.
My pleasure.
Let your efforts be known and allow yourself to feel the full effects of the pride you deserve for a job well done. This might also help with our friends who struggle speaking to their value. Because if you're constantly demeaning, it's no problem. Yeah. Well, it was a freaking problem. It was hard.
Yes.
And I did some work. So happy to help is what you need to do. Or my pleasure. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Happy to help.
Happy to help. All right. When you're stuck, are you ready? Mm-hmm. Do not say, I don't know what to do. Well, I don't know what to do. Say this, and this is from our problem solving section. Here are some options. Research shows that people are more likely to help when they see you've put in some effort first. So your seller is more likely to bend if you've given them some options. You're not just like, well,
price.
Sorry, I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you really want them to do some staging, give them some things they can. Mm-hmm. Here are some options.
Sure.
And show your work. Think through possible solutions to present alongside the problem. By proposing a plan of action, you narrow the scope of the issue and shift into an abundance mindset, which allows you to scan for resources you may have otherwise overlooked. Instead of being like, we're at a dead end, this is a problem. Give some solutions or some ideas, and that is an abundance mindset because now they can choose from. Mm-hmm. You could do this or this or this or this.
So many good ones.
All right, when you've slipped up, like you made a mistake, Alyssa. I really like this. Don't say this. Oops.
My bad.
Say this. Thanks for pointing that out. Everyone makes mistakes. While you want to take accountability for yours, you don't need to lose credibility for a small slip up.
So you can take accountability without losing credibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good.
Over apologizing can lead others to view you as less confident and lower your own self-esteem. Mm-hmm. Instead, take accountability and present your plan to fix the mishap. Say, great catch on the typo. I'll fix that right away. I mean, this has happened, right?
Yeah, that's good. Great catch.
Great catch on the typo. I'll fix that right away. For example, rather than putting yourself down, this approach elevates the other person and conveys something more meaningful than an apology, an improvement.
I like that it's elevating someone.
Yeah, more meaningful than an apology. It's an improvement.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I thought that was pretty good. Okay, I'm done with all the serious stuff. Well, one last serious thing. I found a really nice chart that was helping us to be more sensitive and intentional with our words.
Oh, good.
In inclusivity.
Teach me.
You're going to love this. Instead of you guys, Y'all. Y'all is acceptable. Y'all.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, y'all.
Oh, thank goodness,
y'all,
because I use y'all
everyone.
all the time.
Y'all, folks, everyone.
Okay.
So bad news to all the you guysers out there. You
guys.
We've been in the right for years with the
Yes,
y'all.
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 Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
That's what I like to do when I'm sending that initial under contract email to the lender and title companies and listing agent or,
Hey, y'all works.
Yeah, everybody.
Or you could just say,
all.
hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone. Hey, y'all. That's fine. Especially, we just did our fair housing
Maybe our
recently.
northern friends will be like, hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. What if everyone started doing y'all?
Oh, sorry. It's from Hustle Humbly.
Okay, but these are also in the context of inclusivity. So, like, we were
Everyone.
just talking about fair housing. Normal should change to typical. Like, instead of using the word normal, use typical.
Yes, I use that a lot. I think our repair request template even says, I have gone through the report and put items that are typical for a seller.
Typical is better.
Not normal.
Instead of minority, underrepresented is better.
Ooh.
That's a great word, underrepresented.
Yeah.
Instead of grandfathered, legacy is better.
Okay.
I was like, okay. And then instead of like designating she, he, they say, just say they. All right. Ready for funny stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. I found this like Reddit thread where they're talking about what to say. Okay. Actually, the person wrote in and was like, hey, y'all help me. My friend and I during work meetings, like there's a big room full of people having a work meeting. We try to best each other by slipping in like funny statements to see if people will notice. And whoever can slip in the most without being detected wins the
wins the meeting.
Corporate America is bored. You see?
Yes.
The first one I read was, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. How about this? Doing nothing is very hard to do. You never know when you're finished.
I could just see the bosses like bored.
Yeah. Let's see if you can catch this one. This is all a moo point. It's like a cow's opinion. It's moo. Do you know what that's from?
No.
Friends.
Oh.
It's moo.
It's a moo point.
Also, I found a great graphic on Pinterest that tells me how to swap out what I want to say for things that I should say.
Okay.
Let's find one. Like, you don't know what the beep you're doing. Swap for, I think you could use more training.
That's what I say to, like, when I have another agent on the other side. I'm like, have you asked your broker? That's what I want to say. You don't know what you're doing.
Like, have you asked your broker? How about no beeping way? I'm certain that isn't feasible.
No. Let's just ask for everything on the home inspection report. Seller to make all repairs.
Here's a good one. What the beep is just, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
You don't say.
Okay, let's see. Oh, God, they're so funny. Here's one. This job sucks. I love a challenge.
What a great mindset exercise.
Right? Like, I mean, so silly. Okay. Any others that we didn't get to? I mean, that was a lot.
To so many.
So many.
Y'all really need to follow Instagram this week because I think we have some fun things to post.
We're going to have so many things to post. Okay. Are you ready for the toast?
I am.
Today.
This is a fun one. Do you know why?
Wait, do you know this person?
I know them both.
No, that's not who we're on. Oh, you're okay. We've already done that one.
That's what you said.
No, just ignore her.
Sorry,
She's
YouTube.
confused.
Jay can edit this out.
No, it's not. He's going to leave it. This toast is coming from Karla Kelly to the Women's Council of Realtors, and she's actually in Mandeville, Louisiana.
Well, great.
So, y'all, stay tuned for Karla's toast. I hope she doesn't use any words she shouldn't be using.
I just wanted to shout out.
I hope we get to work together, Karla. Y'all get out there and make some swaps. Okay, goodbye.
Hey, I'm Karla Kelly. I'm from Zachary, Louisiana, but I live in Mandeville, Louisiana. And I'm toasting Women's Council of Realtors, our St. Tammany Parish Network, and RE/MAX Alliance in Mandeville, Louisiana. Love you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to ratethispodcast.com/hustlehumbly and leave us a review or drop a comment if you're listening on Spotify.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast. Don't forget to find all of the free resources at hustlehumblypodcast.com/resources.
See you next week.